Bonjour. Aujourd'hui, nous parlons des repas français. Today, we're going to talk about French meals or meals in France. So you'll learn the words for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and some basic food words that go along with those, and then we'll go into more detail in future lessons. Nous avons le petit déjeuner le matin, le déjeuner à midi, le goûter l'après-midi, et le dîner le soir. So if you remember back to when we learned time, we learned matin was morning, midi was noon, l'après-midi is afternoon, and le soir was the evening. So knowing that, you can probably guess that le petit déjeuner is breakfast, déjeuner is lunch, goûter is a snack, and dîner is dinner. Pour le petit déjeuner, nous avons le croissant, le croissant, le pain, le pain, les céréales et le lait. Le café, le sucre. Now, we've probably already talked about the fact that breakfast in France might be a little different than what you might expect based on what we eat in the United States. So you notice that we had a croissant, we had bread, cereal, milk, coffee. We've already learned in a previous lesson about tea and hot chocolate, le thé et le chocolat chaud. So those are the typical things that you're going to see for breakfast in France. I'm not saying that you couldn't find a hot breakfast somewhere, especially in a hotel that might be catering tourists from other places such as England or the United States or Germany where we're used to a bigger breakfast. But on the whole, you'll have smaller, more carby type of breakfast. Pour le déjeuner, for lunch, le poulet, these are just some examples of things you might see at lunchtime. Les frites, les frites, les pommes de terre, and you might have noticed some of my words are popping up in blue, some of them are popping up in red. In this particular lesson, I went ahead and put in red any words that are feminine. So these right here are plural, so it's hard for you to know if they're masculine or feminine. If they're in red, they're feminine. If they're in blue, they're masculine. So we've got fries and potatoes, in case my clip art is not good enough. Les haricots verts, les haricots verts. Le sel et le poivre. Le fromage. A big part of eating in France is cheese. There's over 365 types of cheese in France. Now we're going to learn a few fruits. La poire et l'orange. La poire et l'orange. Et quelques boissons. L'eau minérale et le vin. So, especially in a restaurant, you would often have wine glasses and water glasses, whether you have sparkling water like this or still water, plain water without the bubbles. These would be two typical drinks to find. Le chocolat chaud. Ensuite, c'est le goûter. C'est le goûter. Now we're talking about snack. Le chocolat chaud. Le thé. So, you might have a hot drink after school with a snack of some kind. Here are some ideas of things you might have for a snack. La tarte aux pommes. La tarte aux pommes. So this is actually an apple pie, if you can't tell. In France, they make their apple pies a little differently. Oftentimes, an American apple pie has a top crust. I actually really love the French apple pie because the crust is only on the bottom or there's no pastry on top and it's just open with the apples and it often looks really pretty and you get more apple taste than just pastry and oh they're so yummy. And now I have examples of les gâteaux et les biscuits. Les gâteaux are cakes, les biscuits are cookies, so these are your general word, and these are specific types. We have les madeleines. Les madeleines are little buttery sort of cakes that are made in a shell shaped pan. They were made super famous by a writer called Proust, and he remembers being a little child and having hot tea with madeleines. So they're really tasty. And les petits écoliers are a specific type of cookie. This is sort of a plain cookie base with a big thick piece of chocolate attached to it. So good. You can actually find these at Walmart and Target, and sometimes even Aldi carries a not this particular brand. The brand is Lou, which you'll sometimes see at Target specifically. But if not, you might find a similar a cookie item that's close enough. These are good. So French children often get home from school maybe around 4 or 5, depending if they're in elementary or high school, and have a snack, often something sweet, a pastry, cake, cookie, something like that, to help keep them going until dinner because dinner is often quite late in the evening. Here are some examples of things we might eat for dinner. La salade. Now, I don't know if this is true for all families, certainly not true in a restaurant, but the family that I was thinking of, if they're hot like their meals, salads. Yeah. They were doctors and they said that helps you up better. In a restaurant, you still get your salad first. Les œufs, les œufs. The word for eggs is so strange. If it's one, we say un œuf, and we hear the F. When we make it plural, then we sort of stop here and we don't hear that F pronounced. Les œufs, les œufs. We've already seen bread back earlier in the presentation, and I told you it was called le pain. Also, specifically, this type of bread right here, this long, skinny French bread loaf, is called une baguette, or here I've got la baguette. So this is the bread that you typically think of when you think of France, and what's eaten most often. Here is, where's my word? Le beefsteak. Le beefsteak, you'll also see le bœuf, or beef, beefsteak for steak, which you also will sometimes see also le steak. A few other protein items. Le jambon for ham, and le poisson for fish. Think of the Little Mermaid, if you ever watched that, and the chef that sings les poissons, les poissons. That'll help you remember that poisson is fish. And finally, just a few more fruits for you. We have les fraises, strawberries, et les framboises, raspberries. And that's it. Now you know a little bit about meals and mealtime vocabulary, and we'll learn more in some upcoming lessons. Thanks for listening.